Welcome to Stony Island. Um, this look like the prison edition. I'm back in the dungeon. Back in the dungeon today. Just cause I mean y'all. I alluded to this before. It just gets so hot in that room. I took a couple of precautions to kind of adjust the temperature. I got some AC. I'm gonna see how that work out, but at the same time, I'm gonna still work on getting this space too, cause um, man, it's got to be comfort over everything. Whenever I'm sitting down and potting, and especially with the reason that I'm trying to make it so much more comfortable is not just for myself but for other people because I'm looking for a podcast partner. Um, I be going through like a trial run. This idea I have for like a podcast series. It's not going to be a regular thing, but I'll be bringing some people in, and I'll probably work on just chemistry on the pod or whatever, and try to make up my mind from there. So if you have any ideas for coming into this podcast space, we'll work on a name and all that kind of stuff, just so it's separate from me, and you don't have to worry about, oh man, you running everything. You know, it's all you. I really want a partner in this thing for something separately. Like I said, I'm expanding some of the things I'm doing. I already started to separate playlists and all that kind of stuff on the channel, just so you can clearly see the difference in, okay, that's for the reactions, that's for the solo pod, this is for this other pod. So anybody, it's just um, like a passive outreach, just to let people know that I am in search of a partner. I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for somebody to do this pod thing with. Maybe it'd be more than one person. I just know for some of the things I want to do, it's really not going to work for me doing it by myself. I've been saying that for a long time, but at the same time, I haven't been all that open to opening up the space to other people, mainly because that room was so uncomfortable for a good portion of the year. It's just the summer months, and then a little bit before summer, a little bit after summer. So I would say like a good 5 months out of the year is not the most comfortable in that room. And if I crank on the AC, I don't know how much that'll be affecting the audio. So it's one of those things where it's something I will try out, but at the same time, I want to have backups. I want to have backups to the backups. I even thought about opening up the garage and doing a podcast out there. You know, I don't have no shame in the game. I do it anywhere. I'm not really that set on one aesthetic. I like being able to mix it up. That's kind of been the point since I started. So with that being said, again, it's my outreach to whoever is watching, and you know, a local. Obviously, man, if you live in New Hampshire, I really don't want to do the Zoom podcast, but look, man, I gotta open my mind up to that kind of stuff too, where maybe you're not even necessarily in the room with me. We're just doing this through like the digital waves. If I have somebody just broadcasting with me from, you know, um, some other remote location, I guess that's cool. You know, again, I'm trying to expand my mind and think about other possibilities. So I'm cool with that. Uh, I'm not really in the mood to sit here and yap all day. I just wanted to get that out there while I was thinking about it. I'm in the middle of setting all of this stuff up so I can see how I want to do it in this space too. So I figured I might as well go ahead and address that while I was at it. I got everything hooked up, and that was just on my mind. On top of a whole lot of other things that I'll be getting to this week. I've been adjusting to a new schedule and all that kind of stuff. So now that I'm kind of settled into it, I kind of see how that's going to go. It's giving me a better idea of like when I can pod and when I can get to some of this other stuff. So I'm doing a much better job, man. I used to go ghost for months, and none of that is happening. Even if I'm not actively podding, I had one when I recorded last week, that I was only able to like save a portion of it, so I turned that into a couple of shorts. The whole pod is kind of lost, so there's no point in me trying to go through that. It's like, it's funny, even with brand new equipment, like stuff still goes wrong. So that's just like the nature of the business, I guess, especially when, again, when you're doing all of this on your own, you're not able to monitor every single thing like you want to. So, you take your L's sometimes and just do it in stride, man. I took so many L's in doing this thing and still been able to grow this channel and still been able to grow myself in this space. So, man, y'all really don't hear me complaining about a whole lot. It's like, it is what it is. It's just one of those things. This stuff, I like, well, y'all can't see it here, but I'm actively able to monitor the audio right now. I can see right here. It's not going nowhere. So if it were to just stop on me, which is what happened last time, if it were to stop on me, I'd be able to see that. Because for the last part I did, like, all the video is there, but I'm such a stickler for quality that if the sound quality takes a dive for whatever reason, then I just, oh well. I know some people are, I think crazy. You gotta be crazy to say I sit down and pod for 30 minutes and I lose that and I'm gonna go sit down and re-record the whole thing. Not likely. Not likely, man. Because I get on the road and it won't have the same effect as when I was already in it, For some people, they'll take that as a challenge. They'll go ahead and re-record it, but you're not going to get that from me, because what I do is so organic. I feel like I'm actually cheating y'all if I go back and re-record it. It's not with the same feeling. It's not with the same vigor or whatever it was that had me rolling when I originally recorded. So that's the reason why I don't go back and re-record things. Like, it was a moment. It's over. I missed it. Everybody missed it. Oh well. There'll be plenty of other opportunities for me to talk about a whole lot of other things. So even if that's a loss, it's not some big deal. It's just like, oh well. Back to the drawing board. That's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it today. Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot going on in terms of the podcast world. Last week, all I was seeing was Sinners, so I can't talk about that until I see it. And then Shannon Sharpe, like, just dominated the headlines. And I think what I was thinking about during that whole process was a little interesting, because it was like, hey, Shannon, man, you did it. You did it. I'm going to just say that I remember the thing about Shannon before was like a lot of rumors about his preference, right? The people that you saw him hanging out with courtside, some of his attire, some of his accessories, all of that was leading people to say Shannon is swinging for the other team, right? And so once those rumors got loud, especially like Corey Holcomb was probably leading the charge when it came to that, but he was nowhere near the only person saying stuff like that. And then this is where the conspiracy bag kind of started for me, because the rumors got so loud and he even addressed it. And then all of a sudden, there was just this accidental live situation, right? And now we're not talking about that so much now because apparently Shannon was in the room with this woman and doing grown-up things, right? Okay. I didn't forget. And nobody is in the room for any of this stuff that's happening. That's why it's all speculation and shouldn't even be that important. And it's actually not important to me, other than what I deem to be a smokescreen. I see this as just I see this as like an attempt to throw a curveball, throw everybody off the scent because we couldn't deny what we were seeing. So all of a sudden now, none of this stuff has ever happened. He's never been in a news cycle like this before. And now all of a sudden, all of this is about him and young women and, accidentally popping up on live. And right after that, he's advertising male enhancement and all this kind of stuff. It's like, if you hip to all of these games that these people play, then I think any possibility is in play. So I don't see, especially when, there's no way we can prove a lot of this stuff. You kind of left up to your own imagination with everything in the first place. So I just looked at it like, well done, Shannon. Like, you successfully threw everybody off the scent, except for me, because I didn't forget. That's pretty much all I want to say about that. I'll just leave it alone. But yeah, the news cycle was heavy on, it was the Pope, it was Shannon Sharpe, and Sanders last week. So, of course, some other things happened. I don't really like getting into a whole lot of like the major headlines. You'll see every now and then I get in on the topic that's just like, is making the rounds. But for the most part, I see a lot of that stuff. It's just like, And most of it is not even interesting enough for me to talk about. Because, with Shannon, this accusations, allegations, a lot of stuff we can't do anything with until the process is over. And even that is like a civil court case. So the prosecutor has a reputation, and we already been introduced to him in previous cases a couple of months ago. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like what's playing out in front of us is just a production. I don't know how seriously to take it. That's why I don't. And I just look at some of the other things going on behind the scenes. That's just the way I kind of process all of this. It's like, I'll only look at this as entertainment until it becomes something more real or more tangible. Outside of that, it's just something to talk about or ignore. Really, you either going to talk about it or you're going to ignore it. So that's the two choices. That's about all I had to say about that. And that's really all I had to say anyway. I don't know why I feel so sleepy. Like, I got a decent amount of rest, but it's the weekend. And really all I want to do is go lay down anyway. So I think I'm going to do that. Happy day to you. Enjoy the changing of the weather. We're finally outside of the freezing cold. Do something for yourself. I love you, and I'm out.